This is where we get all of the revelations that cannot be censored or denied any longer, because our body consciousness is so online now with the light acceleration on the planet that it takes so much more work and effort to deny our intuitive gut knowingness about what is continuing to be revealed. Welcome to the Raw and Wild Hearts, a place where the raw, the unfiltered, the wild hearts gather to celebrate triumphs and hardships, learn from each other, grow together, and break down a culture rooted in fear. We will talk, we will laugh, and we will lean on each other about everyday life experiences that we could all use a little support through, and then we'll bask in the wild, magical beings that we are. My philosophy is that by embracing the dark, we may just let in the light. I am your host, Lori Rising, healer, educator, writer, adventurer, retreat leader, birth defender, and animal enthusiast and activist, along with my wild heart sidekick Kitty, Jesus the Brave. We'd like to invite you to get excited about the Wild Heart Revolution. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's very special podcast episode. As usual, it's called 2022, the year of inspired action. And wow, we are already seeing and feeling it. We have some big astrology happening this year and a divine personal evolution that goes along with it. I'm sharing this shorter episode about the current and upcoming energies as a new format for the podcast and for my offerings. I absolutely love the dynamic of the interview format and the light we deposit in the energy grid with every single one, which, by the way, is the quickest way to shifting the mass consciousness into our new earth frequency that we are holding, where we will be rebuilding from love, balance, and abundance. So the interviews will absolutely go on. I am also now feeling called to share more of the channeled messages and downloads I receive, and even some oracle wisdom about the energies coming in, so that you can be supported and lifted in your unfolding journey, since we are now being called to more. It is within ourselves. If you are even tapped in a little, there's no more denial. We can no longer tough it out, sacrifice ourselves, live for others, stay small, or dim our light. No more power over. And we know, even while we crave the stability of the life we once knew, our spirit is calling for more. It is my intention to now move to a weekly podcast format. Booyah! With shorter energy update episodes and longer interview exchanges mixed in. And I will absolutely be exemplifying our new intended way of life with fluidity and adaptability through this process. So I do ask you to flow with me too. It's a great practice of releasing expectation and honoring the unfolding of what's to come. Now would be a great time to hit that little subscribe button and get every episode in your portal as soon as they come out and when they come out. Also, while you're at it, if you're receiving divine support from my soul's work here, I would love a star rating and review. I'm shocked that I have been here for 2.5 years now. Wow, can you believe it? And I'm hoping to continue to raise the roof on what's possible for us in these beautiful, raw human lives here. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the Wild Heart Revolution. I'm so happy you're here and you have found us. My mission is to disrupt the harmful programming of fear, scarcity, and limitation mindsets that we have been sold in this culture. As a trauma-informed healer of many modalities, I'm here to support you in rediscovering your majesty and your birthright of joy and ease in these bodies and human lives. I mean, imagine living from a place of such divine balance that you move in a frequency of love no matter what is happening around you. You learn how to keep your vibration up through all of life's fluctuations, and you magnetize a life of passion and purpose. You co create with a benevolent universe that is always sending you messages in your highest good. Yes, this is more possible than it has ever been. We are in historical shifts with the planets, the Earth's magnetic field, the Earth's heartbeat, and the light acceleration on Earth. Let me be brutally honest. If you are feeling more than you have ever felt before, it's because you are supposed to. Your cells are waking up, loves. They are responding to the energetic shifts. Try to imagine the universe inside of your cells. It's funny, right? Like it would have to be teeny, teeny, tiny inside there. And yet it's all there. The wisdom codes, the ancient knowledge, creation energy, it's all been repressed by a programming you did not choose. And now they are coming online. The universe is waking up inside every single one of your cells. It's like nature is activating inside of us. And I don't know about you, but I am wildly here for it. This is why it is so vital that you find someone who can guide you into the excitement for the unknown rather than continue in the habitual reaction of fear that has been learned. And my friends, this is exactly what I have been creating for you. If you resonate with what I'm throwing down, I will tell you right now that I see immediate shifts in everyone who makes the soul investment in my quantum leaping digital course, Awaken Your Life Force. And I have a little secret for you. Note that this disrupts the institutionalized education that's been forced on us. And that secret is that when you invest your money, time, and intention into your soul's evolution and alignment, when you elevate at higher frequencies, you co-create in this world in abundant ways. And that, my friends, changes every single part of your life for the better, in more ease and joy and flow. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but before I dive a bit further into the energies of 2022, I want to shout out that I have some incredible interview episodes on the docket, and the next is with the fierce astrologer Kelsey Friza. Ooh, and we get into it. I mean, the light frequency we created in this exchange is off the hook. She's one of those peeps that my cells jump for. We get giddy about the wild possibilities on the horizon in this enormous journey. Definitely make sure to tune in and tap in with us, babes. Okay, so for today, I'd love to share with you the energies that I have felt in this 2+ year progression that's been greatly accelerated by the global shift of the pandemic. I want to preface this with a very important thought and probably the most profound belief you can integrate into your being. We are allowed to change. We get to change. We are made to change. Somewhere along the way, a whole narrative got unleashed that you are who you are and you live it and then you die. And then we've presented this finality in relationships and connections, interactions, habits, mindsets, and belief systems. Well, I'm here to call bullshit on it right now. Wow, has that kept us living small in such a place of scarcity and limitation? And we are infinite beings filled with great love and light and an even greater capacity to adapt and evolve. And spoiler alert, when we adapt and evolve, life gets so much easier. We have been forcing ourselves into a box of resistance that has only resulted in dis-ease, discontentment, and disconnection from the source energy, God, spirit, whatever resonates with you, that resides within us all. I always have had a huge problem with the Jesus story because it was completely disempowering. But I see now that Jesus had the Christ consciousness that we all came in with. It's been learned out of us. So it's not that Jesus was this person that did all of this stuff for us or to us or whatever. Jesus was one of us. And that is exactly where we can go in our lives, but somehow that story got wildly twisted in power dynamics and systems that used it for their narrative. So, just a side note, real quick there. I feel the collective deeply. It's not a superpower. Well, it is, but we all have it. I've just been intentionally tapping into it and practicing my sensory language system for a long time, which is exactly what Jesus did by transcending the ego, the fear mind, the cultural narrative. And we are a product of what we practice. Take that in, because another truth bomb, we are practicing every day, all day. Check in and see what you're producing. So, a little timeline here. In 2020, I felt shock and survival. Creatures of habit have a hard time when their habits are disrupted. And with good reason, right? We've got money, school, businesses that all shifted in an instant. And we have learned stress and fear over trust and allowance, which could have actually led to some of the best creation energy our collective is capable of at that time. Unfortunately, we have a media that sells whatever it wants based on your fear. But yet, there was a beautiful resonance among the entire planet that was filled with love and solidarity. Oh, the energy I felt collectively was wildly beautiful until that fear narrative came in harder and harder, and the emotional manipulation and the agendas. It just went on and on. It broke my heart. But then came the fear being pumped through the atmosphere at an alarming rate. And y'all, fear is the biggest weapon ever wielded. I'm going to say that one more time because it's so important to understand that in your cells. Fear is the biggest weapon ever wielded, and it is used dramatically to sell you something. Then off we move to 2021, ready and waiting to go back to quote unquote normal, a normal where we have lived in a fractured, imbalanced, exhausted, and unwell and violent world. So there was denial, there was a whole lot of stress, and a bunch of emotional manipulation to sell the narrative and the agenda. And I'm just going to fast forward now to 2022. This is our reality check. This is where we get all of the revelations that cannot be censored or denied any longer, because our body consciousness is so online now with the light acceleration on the planet that it takes so much more work and effort to deny our intuitive gut knowingness about what is continuing to be revealed. We have to stand up. We have to bring our sovereignty now to the collective. We're in the age of Aquarius, and that is exactly what we are meant to do in these energies. They cannot be flukes or covered up. This is the tipping point where we get to make empowered decisions if we are going to allow ourselves to change against all the conditioning of polarization and divisiveness. Or are we going to double down and continue to deny the truth to hold those same destructive, power grabbing, money sucking systems in place? Will we stay in the habitual reaction of power over unhealthy ego, stress, and resistance, which keeps everything just as imbalanced and harmful as it was always to the masses? Or will we truly understand that when we come from acceptance, understanding, adaptability, and curiosity, we actually enact our creation energy and can literally change everything in an instant? Together. Really, though, feel into this. If we stopped fighting and started co-creating for how to build our health, how to rebuild our systems, how to support and rely on small business, imagine the beauty that comes from that evolution. This is where I feel the collective is awakening to the innate truth to the God within, to the source energy that has been pumping through our veins and our blood. It's always been there inside your cells, repressed by eons of trauma, of resistance. Your inherent navigation system is coming online. You feel it, right? And it's powered by your full participation. The more you unplug, heal your trauma, practice your intuition, listen to the innate messages that are constantly moving in your body, engage in your innate medical wisdom, reject their fear and stress agenda, magnetize your life, share your sovereignty with the collective, be the change that you know in your soul is possible. The inspired action is the move you make in activating your superpowers. The intention you put into your alignment, the empowered choices you make that raise your vibrations, the decision you make that you are no longer available to sacrifice any part of your soul, the trust you develop in this grand unfolding of life is the ease and joy that is your birthright. So let's chat about what has already went down in our cosmic flow. I mean, we are just emerging from a very, very, very deep integration period. We went through some big ass Capricorn energies, as well as a very long Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde period. Oof, it was a doozy, even with the heads up, the alignment work. It went deep, y'all. It could have felt like a hopelessness, like you were moving through sludge, even like there was a hard energetic stop. And if you've been doing your work and creating the expansion in your universe, it could have felt wildly confusing, like WTF, nothing suddenly seems possible anymore. What am I doing? Where am I going? It could have really brought in some of those scarcity and limitation mindsets that you have been disrupting. What you were really doing is feeling the energies deeper than you ever have before, because you've been doing the higher consciousness work, the soul work. You were laying the foundation and structure slowly for what's to come. The Venus retrograde gave you a boost in a full excavation of the programmed self and transformation into the sovereign, embodied, great self that gets to now live with a body consciousness barometer, aka divine truth meter. Yep, that is you. Your cells have been coming online with a vengeance, and they will immediately show you truth now. It's really, how are you going to drop into and align with the trust of your truth? It is the work you have done on releasing the thought mind, the rationalizer, the fear response that will lead you to your greatest heights now. And we needed that time of guttural review in order to expand with where you're going now. All planets are now moving direct. This is February 2022. And just like the long ass Venus retrograde, we get a long time in this forward motion to divinely integrate our new badass, sovereign, and multidimensional selves. This, my friends, is your magical opportunity to be solid in the higher levels of consciousness living within our physical 3D world. And it's just in the nick of time. But this is also where I'm going with the 2022 energies of inspired action. When you have the innate knowingness within your cells, when you have the body consciousness that is sending you signals and messages that you can no longer deny, when you're in the true reality of the trajectory of where we're going and how we get there, P.S., it's through love, you now understand how vital the investment you make in yourself is. No more sacrificial living. Do you hear me in your cells? Because when you have a full cup, when you feel divinely aligned, when you trust the guides that are sending you messages all day long, you make shit happen. You vibrate in that frequency. And let me just say that the reason that this is all divinely timed is that we needed the solo transformation in order to come out to the collective in our sovereignty, out of the unhealthy ego, in our balance, alignment, and in our place of unconditional love, because shit's about to go down. Yeah. The first Pluto return is about to hit the USA this month, and it's big. It's no joke. And we are actually prepping ourselves to come from this place of alignment through the death. Yes, Pluto is all about death and rebirth. So you got to buckle up. You got to be ready. And the way to be ready is to deeply be aligned within your soul. Systems are going to get dismantled. People are going to hold on to power. New dynamics are going to be breaking through. It takes a lot of work to dismantle power, greed, and imbalance in order to come from abundance and love. We all have a space to participate in. Just like the fact that your life will not change without the full participation of you in it, this culture and these limited programs that have dimmed our lights, that have kept us small, need our full participation in order to create big change in these movements. And the planets have ever been in our favor. They have been nudging us into deep spaces within ourselves for the internal excavation of traumas, wounds, karma, unhealthy ego holds, in order to evolve into our dynamic, fluid, adaptable, and sovereign selves, so that we have a solid foundation and practice while the external crumbles. In fact, we are here so that we can be a fully embodied participant in the disruption. And believe you me, I am here for the rebirth and the rebuilding. But it takes work, it takes choice, and it takes all of us shifting out of resistance and into love. Ooh. So as we go deeper with every internal fluctuation, we feel it so much more, because the only way out is through. And loves, to feel is the only way to heal. It's not the pill you've been sold. It's the trauma release that you've been made to fear. It's the emotions that you've been told to repress. It's the full vibrancy of who you are and what you came here to be. There are a few more very important astrological events this year, and one of them is Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. I think it's been 168 years since this happened. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's around there. And get ready for your divinity to be amplified. We just went through all of these very structured Capricorn energies within like rules and confines and systems within ourself. Like we created a structure within ourself as these new multidimensional beings, so that when the spiritual and enlightened expansion of Jupiter and Neptune comes in, we can ground it. This is so important, because if you do not ground it, if you have not been aligning with your higher self, it can be wildly overwhelming in this 3D control mind. Okay. And that is where you have to be mindful of addictive tendencies, of the desire to check out, because when we are not in alignment with the source energy within ourselves and in our souls, when it is amplified on the outside of us and not on the inside, it can be more than overwhelming when it comes in at such a light frequency that we now have on the planet. So that is why it is wildly important that you are tapping in now. You are integrating the light codes, the solar flares, the new magnetic field of the earth. You need to be practicing your alignment and raising your frequency with the planet so that you can hold all that's coming in this conjunction. And if you're not, you could be more disconnected than ever, because then the feeling of uncomfort that comes from such a rush of divinity will be expanded by Jupiter. When we are separated from our God selves and forced into a life of limits and low light, addiction can feel like the best way out, numbing a reality that we were really never sent here to live. So take heed, friends. Ask for help, seek out guidance, identify what's become habit, and spend time in intentional practice. Push play on the meditation, the podcast, the TED Talk, the affirmations, and keep doing it, because anything you practice will create a reality within your soul. Do the breath work, move your body, take walks, connect with others, use sound frequency. There are people everywhere that are holding the light lines that continue to amplify on this earth and in this collective, and they are reaching out to you. When you find someone that resonates with your soul, when your cells perk up, even when you feel nervous within their message, that may be what is calling to you. And instead of fearing the unknown, align with excitement about the unknown and the possibilities that are endless in these bodies and in this time-space continuum. I truly believe it is all divinely timed, as we just emerged from the underbelly of those two retrogrades. The buzzwords were sludge, slow, stalled, emotional, dire, distrust. And now with all planets direct until April 29th, the buzzwords can feel like forward momentum, excitement, possibility, creation energy, evolution, sovereignty, fluidity, flexibility, and trust. The age of Aquarius is how we bring ourselves into the collective, how we connect, how we contribute, not how we follow or how we judge or how we take or how we dominate, how we contribute. From a higher vantage point and with technology, we can do this in quantum leaps and bounds together. So I now bring this back to my channeled message of 2022. Your body is calling you to evolve. Your higher consciousness is calling you to allow the evolution around you. Get out of that stagnation of linear control, of the need to be right, of the greed over humanity, of the fear of change, because we are learning more, feeling more, being more, and expanding more with every single transit, every fluctuation, every internal period of deep work and integration. And that means you get to easily change your mind. So does everyone else. What a beautiful world when we don't have to double down. We actually get to expand and evolve in every moment. And when you realize the dividends that come back to you with that expansion, you'll never want to go back. The miracles, the telepathy, the levitation. Imagine living in a frequency of pure love as much of intelligent life does. Allow yourself to be in a state of flow, ease, health, and love. Enjoy all of the hard ass work you've been doing to live in that ease and effortless. With our new body consciousness barometer knocking on your spirit, you get to feel how wonderful it is to live from your innate navigation system, a system that you came in with that was made to create that life of ease and your birthright of joy. So now you know that it's possible. You may just be starting to feel the freedom in it. So now is the time to practice your trust, to empower your greatness. This, my friends, is your inspired action. It is your intentional practice over your habitual response. This is where you disrupt money belief systems, time belief systems, stress belief systems, reliance on external validation. It's where you invest your time, your money, spirit, your mind, your care, and belief in your God self. You are now beginning to drop into the full realization that when you live as the multidimensional being you were meant to be in this physical reality, that every part of your life, your relationships, your faith, your intuition, Your abundance, your wellness comes from that exact place of joy and ease. This is the time to invest in the people, the classes, the practices that raise your vibrations. They believe in your greatness and solidify your trust in the innate living library that resides within your cells. The deeper we move through trauma, karmic, and wound healing in those times of internal excavation, the higher the frequency is that gets activated when we integrate that deep work and come out on the other side. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you tune in, because the next episode that drops here with the fierce astrologer, Kelsey Fryza, is about to up-level your experience in quantum shifts within the exchange. We were vibrating so high, our guides couldn't stop giving us messages. I can't wait for you to hear it. I just wanted to touch base, talk a little bit about the energy that I'm really feeling for 2022, because I feel like there's a different kind of awakening happening. It's the divine reality check. The source energy has moved the planets in such a way that our bodies are superseding the control that our minds have always held on to. And I am loving it. So I'll just tell you right now, the quicker you tap in to the messages that are vibrating within your cells, the easier everything becomes. The more you hold on to resistance and control of what you thought you believed and what you thought was reality, the harder everything's going to get. This is the human evolution that we have been riding, and it's about to get exponentially bigger. Honestly, if you want to work with me, stay in touch, come on over to my Instagram at The Raw and Wild Hearts. I've got my YouTube channel, The Raw and Wild Hearts, or under my name, Lori Rising. I have the most amazing digital course out and available for you. Every single person who has taken this course has went through deep spiritual and belief system and thought form shifts. I will tell you right now that I have an exclusive offer for you that will change your life in a moment. I'm only sharing this offer in very intentional places right now. And as a podcast supporter and listener, I'm sharing it with you now. If you jump into my Awaken Your Life Force digital course until midnight on Sunday, February 6th, you will also receive a psychic oracle reading with me and an astrology reading with Amy Rehagen. Boom. Oh my goddess. This offer is unheard of. Just those two readings alone are over half of the course cost, which, by the way, I have kept at launch price. Spirit has not moved me to change the price yet. So if you are ready to take inspired action and have the ultimate guide in inspiration and fun into the new Earth awakening, join now and join before Sunday night at midnight Pacific time. Loves, thank you for being here and braving this raw and wild ride. I am wildly in love with your soul. I believe deeply in your majesty and divinity. And I know that we can get there in leaps and bounds when we free ourselves up, when we liberate ourselves from the confines of a culture that we never chose. Now is the time that we do the work to transform this planet, this collective, and this consciousness for generations to come. Until next time, babes, peace, love, and cheers. And with that, let's normalize the struggles, celebrate the quirks, and lean into the light. From myself and Beezus the Brave, happy Wild Heart Revolution, friends.